TGIF Yarmouth. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Friday Five. As always, I'm Scott LaFlamme, and I'm here to bring you 5 things happening in town that you might want to learn a little bit more about. As always, we've got a jam-packed edition. We've got things all the way from crossing guard needs to talking with local filmmakers to talking through a tax bill primer, maybe a little bit of bike racks, and as always, we're going to wrap things up with a town council primer for the month of September. So as a reminder, I know it's probably on everybody's calendar, Labor Day is on Monday, so all municipal operations are going to be closed. That includes the town office, it includes Merrill Memorial Library, and the transfer station. So if you crack open a bunch of lobsters over the weekend, it may smell a little bit when it comes to Thursday. So anyways, with that, we're gonna jump right into the Friday Five. Yarmouth, if you're anything like me, you can't wait for school to start next week. Kick those kids out of bed, send them back to school. But we want to do it safely, and we need your help. As you remember, back in the spring, we said goodbye to Ruthie Coffin, and we have a handful of other crossing guard positions for both full-time and for part-time. So if you're interested in helping kids safely cross the street on their way to school, and you'd love to work for the town of Yarmouth, then check out the town's website, yarmouth.me.us/employment, or check out the human resources page on the town's website and talk with Jessica for more information. With that, we're going to be on to item number 2. Number 2. I am thrilled to be here with an award-winning filmmaker, Yarmouth's very own Tom Bell, and everybody knows Heidi Grimm here at the Merrill Memorial Library. Tom, tell us a little bit more about the big premiere or the big showing that you've got here at the Merrill Memorial Library in just a few weeks.
Yes, yeah, we'll be on September 9 at 6 p.m. right here on the 3rd floor of the library. We'll be screening An Extraordinary Place, which is a 35-minute documentary about WMPG, a community radio station in Portland. And while it's a profile of the volunteer DJs who work there and their passion for music, it's also a story about the power of human connections to music, the power of volunteerism, and getting away from algorithms and AI. It's all about the people and passion. So we're going to have some DJs there from WMPG to be here and to talk to the audience. So really, I hope you can be here and join us.
Yeah. So in addition to being just a wonderful person and phenomenal filmmaker, Tom also has a day job, and he works for Greater Portland Council of Governments, or GPCOG, who the town of Yarmouth works with a lot, and they help with a variety of regional questions. They help us work through large development projects, long-range planning projects, and Tom's role there is to work on their communications. And talking about WMPG, tell us a little bit more about the podcast series that you offer, and folks may want to listen to it at home.
Yeah, so at GPCOG we have a live radio show we turn into a podcast called Let's Connect Greater Portland every Thursday at 1 o'clock. And it was actually doing that show which got me thinking about, this is such an interesting place here at WMPG with all these strange people walking in and out. And I thought this would make a great documentary. I thought maybe a passion project, maybe 5 minutes on YouTube, but it turned out to be a big project, and the film has won several awards. We'll be going to Barcelona in October, where we'll be screening for a Spanish audience with Spanish subtitles. Nice. I'm really excited to see how they respond to the film. And I'm excited to see what Yarmouth residents think of the film. And even though a lot of people know me as from GPCOG, but most people in town know me as husband of Svetlana,
yeah,
the dressing.
Most importantly, I'm sure. So anyways, well, I hope you all can join us on September 9th. It should be a phenomenal night. And thanks for Heidi for hosting this.
Very happy to do so. And this event is part of our Patricia Ramsey Civic Engagement Series, so we're expecting a nice local turnout with some good Q&A for Tom following the film.
Yeah, so we hope we all can make it. Tom, Heidi, thanks so much for joining us this week, and we're on to item number 3. Number 3, in the next week or so, we'll be getting finalized assessment totals from our tax assessors at Cumberland County Regional Assessing, which means that we're going to be committing taxes. And at that point, a few weeks after that, you'll start to receive your tax bill for FY26. So I wanted to do a couple things. Run through what the tax bill looks like, what you might see within it, and then talk a little bit about how we got here, because this is really a years-long effort to come up with the next year's budget figures for expenses, for municipal expenses, for school expenses, for capital reserve accounts, and everything in between. So let's take a quick look at the tax bill that you might receive. In the top right-hand corner, you're going to see the first and second half payments, and of course, our first payment is due in November, our second is in May. Those dates will be identified on your tax bill. In the middle section, there's going to be two different important pieces. On the right-hand side, it shows the breakdown of your the total property value, both for land and for building. It also includes any exemptions that you might have. So if you have a homestead exemption, if you have a blind exemption, if you have anything else that may be a veterans exemption, those will be identified in that section, and it gives you the overall tax bill for FY26. On the left-hand side is the distribution of where your tax dollars are going. So the town sends the tax bills, but of course it's broken into subsections. So first you'll see the percentage or the amount that would go towards the school expenses, which accounts for about 70% of the tax bill. You'll also see a section for the county assessment, which equates to about 5% of the overall tax bill. And then you'll see the municipal segment, which is about 25% of your overall tax bill. So it shows you where your money is going towards. There's additional information within the tax bill, but I did want to let you know that for folks who may be struggling, dealing with some sort of financial or health hardship, there are resources available to you. And if you're interested in exploring those more in a confidential way, be sure to reach out. We're happy to walk you through that process. Next year's budget really starts in the summer. So of course, July 1st is the first day of our new fiscal year. Just after that, I'm working with municipal staff to develop what's called a capital improvement plan. So this is an investment strategy for the next 5 years for infrastructure improvement, fleet and equipment replacement, and other types of capital equipment. And so with that, I work directly with the department heads, develop out a plan, which then goes to the town council for review. It then goes to planning board for review and formal adoption, and finally goes back to the town council during their budget season. It really starts in January or February, and that is debated and ultimately a subsection of that, or if it's in its entirety, included into the following year's budget for approvals. As we work towards getting the capital improvement plan approved by the planning board and reviewed by the town council, we work our way into the next budget season. That starts really in December, when I work with department heads to look at operational needs and expenses. And we look at new revenues and other things that we're going to ultimately set the tax rate. When we go through that process, it's refined and then presented to the town council, generally in February. Throughout the next 4 months, the town council meets regularly and is totally open to the public, and they frankly look for your feedback. Totally go through each of the municipal operations, each department request, what I've suggested as expenses, and they come together with a proposed budget, which is then sent to the voters who had the final say at town meeting, which is the first Tuesday in every June. So at that point, throughout that process, the school committee is also developing out the school's budget, and it gets presented in the springtime as part of the town council's budget review and approval. And again, both of those budgets are approved at town meeting, and there's an additional step for the school budget where it needs to be ratified by voters by secret ballot the following Tuesday. So just a little bit of a heads up there's a lot of work that goes into this, and there's also a lot of information that's available on the town's website if you're interested in learning more about it. Of course, as we roll into the next fiscal year, the town council will be holding a series of community conversations about the budget and things that are important to folks and things that we want to focus on as we move forward in Yarmouth's future. So with that, let's go on to item number 4. Number 4, we're here with Julie again, talking all things bicycle and pedestrian safety here in Yarmouth. And with school just around the corner, we've got some new little pieces of fun branding swag here to offer folks in town. Tell us more about it, Julie.
Yeah, so first off, we have to thank the Economic Development Advisory Board for helping to fund this pilot project, which is in addition to helping with the town branding and the very proud culture of bicycling in town, is also aligned with the comprehensive plan as well as the climate action plan to make more opportunities for different types of travel in town and to connect people to all the wonderful resources inside the business district, aka Main Street and Route 1, as well as beyond to the parks and open spaces. So this is a pilot project of 10 bike racks. I'm so excited, can you tell? And eventually it will grow beyond. And so we have, these are called lollipops or hitches. And the second type, which is here and hidden, is the hoop. So they match the existing typologies that are already out in the neighborhood, but expanding infrastructure and hopefully access to all the wonderful things Yarmouth has. So a huge thank you to Director Street for helping to bring this to fruition and helping us to prioritize the locations with Bike Ped, as well as the Parks Department for where those locations are gonna go for new racks.
Oh, I'm so excited about biking now.
And we have another spoiler, so take it away, Chief Gallant.
Hi everybody, Dan Gallant, Yarmouth Police Chief. Thanks, Julie. We're going to talk about these beautiful crosswalk signs that we received today with the help of Yarmouth DPW, but they were a gift from Maine Department of Transportation. These signs are quite expensive, so we're very lucky to have these. We got about 16 of them. And we're going to be putting them in various places, mostly concentrated on Main Street for crosswalks and also on West Main Street. And essentially just a reminder to folks, let them know that, you know, this is the law in the state of Maine, that you have to yield to somebody who's in the crosswalk, who makes it known to drivers that they're waiting to cross. So be aware for drivers on Main Street. People are going to be using those pretty actively through the fall. School starts next week, so please be on the lookout for folks in the crosswalk. And for people who are walking and biking, just make sure when you step off the curb or you're starting to get into a crosswalk that you try to make eye contact with the driver. Let them know, be sure that they can see you so you're not making any assumptions and the driver's not making any assumptions. And sometimes it's difficult to see people in a crosswalk if there's a couple of cars parked on the side of the street. So for everybody, just be careful, pay attention, stay off your phone while driving, and be safe. Thank you.
Last week, Julie talked all about our demonstration projects for traffic calming measures throughout different streets here in Yarmouth. And so as you drive safely down Main Street, also keep an eye out for these at those different locations. Again, more information is going to be shared on that. And if you want to learn more about those demonstration projects, check out last week's Friday 5. So thanks, Chief.
And just to let everyone know, we want to thank Eric Street for his 30 years of dedicated service to the town of Yarmouth. Amazing person, difficult loss for the town, but glad that he's making his way outside the town of Yarmouth and onto new things. So thank you to him. His crew under him has been fantastic, and we really appreciate all the help over the years.
Thanks. All right, with that, we're on to item number 5. We're back at HQ for item number 5. As always, we're going to wrap up this week's edition of the Friday 5 with a quick town council primer. And September is yet another busy month. We've got items ranging from updates to the climate action plan all the way down to changes to our personnel policy. So again, town council meets the first, second, and third Thursday of each month, and all meeting material is available on the town's website, including background information, agendas, minutes from previous meetings, all on our website at yarmouth.me.us/town council. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this week's edition of the Friday 5. Have a great weekend, long weekend at that, and we'll see you next Friday. Have a great weekend, guys.